So now imagine the fun of traveling with Prime Minister Modi. He does not do conventional sightseeing. And we slowly discovered that. I saw accompanying him that all the time his mind is on identifying, absorbing best practices. Acha wo hai, ye kaise karte hain, but the main thing is, how do I take it back to my country? So we went to a railway station in Berlin, I remember that, and each one of them he noted something, and today we are in the middle of building a convention center in Delhi, which I promise you will be the pride of India. We went to a cleaned up river in South Korea, in Seoul. And that actually gave him a lot of ideas about Namami Gange, about rejuvenating the Ganga. We went and saw public housing in Singapore. And today, जब हम PM आवास योजना की बात करते हैं, we saw what housing can do in a place like Singapore. So to my mind, when I look at him, and I'm also a student of history and in a way political science, I'm reminded actually of people in Japan. Now I'm reminded of people in Japan partly because I study history, but also because my wife is Japanese. So many things remind me of Japan. So he reminds me of, Japan 150 years ago had a generation of very committed people. And the then Prime Minister of Japan actually, us time plane to the nahi, he went actually on a ship around the world for almost 1 year. And he came back with a list of things which he saw around the world and said, these things need to be made in Japan. So in some ways, traveling with Prime Minister Modi is like that all the time you are watching, you are looking, you are seeking, and you are thinking, how do I do something with this back home? And one question which always people ask me, Acha, what is it like traveling? Traveling not kya dekha, but everybody hears, are wo sote nahi hai, 4 ghante sote hain, it must be very tough. So I actually make a reference to it in my book, saying that Prime Minister Modi has been as demanding of the Indian system. I actually did not have courage to write, and of his ministers. So demanding of the Indian system as he has been unsparing of himself. His visits abroad are legendary for his punishing schedule. And the one which to my mind ranks toughest was a 5-day trip. We started in the morning, we went to Afghanistan. We reached Qatar that day, spent 1 night, did our job in Qatar. Next day we were on the plane, raat ko plane mein bitaya. Went to Switzerland, did our job, got on a plane, spent another night on a plane, went to United States, spent 1 day there, went from there to Mexico the next day, got on a plane, spent 1 more night on a plane, and came back to India. So it was a 5-day trip to 5 countries, 3 nights on a plane. And these habits even today continue. So the last trip which we just did, हम लोग आपने देखा होगा, we were in Japan. So we arrived in Japan, again 1 night on a plane, 1 night on the ground, next night on a plane back. Total ground time 40 hours. इसमें से आप 4 घंटे नींद के लिए निकाल लीजिए, 36 hours, 23 meetings in 36 hours. And I will tell you the icing on this. We arrive in the morning, flying all night, and there is a cabinet meeting as soon as we arrive. So this is what Prime Minister Modi is about.